When I found my mother-in-law's hidden diary full of lies about me, I knew I had to act fast. Part 2. I managed to jiggle the lock with a screwdriver and slipped inside Emma's bedroom. The diary wasn't just a collection of lies. It was a detailed plan to destroy my marriage and ruin my life. She had been manipulating Mike for years, feeding him false information about my infidelities, my spending habits, and my supposed disregard for my family. Each entry was meticulously crafted to paint me as the villain in our story. My heart raced as I flipped through the pages, each word searing into my mind. Emma had documented every whispered lie, every subtle manipulation. She had even faked evidence to make Mike believe I was having an affair with a coworker. I picked up my phone and dialed Mike's number, my hands shaking. "Mike, we need to talk. It's about your mother," I said. There was a pause. "What about her?" he asked, concern in his voice. "I found something, Mike," I said, my voice trembling. "Something that changes everything." I took a deep breath and began to recount what I had found, my voice filled with a mix of anger and sadness. Mike listened in silence, his breath growing heavier with each revelation. When I finished, there was a long pause. "I can't believe it," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "I always knew something was off, but I never thought." His voice trailed off, and I could hear the pain and confusion. "Mike, I need you to come home," I said firmly. "We need to talk about this face to face." There was another pause, and then Mike responded, "I'm on my way." As I hung up, I felt a sense of dread. The room felt colder, more sinister, as if the very walls were whispering secrets. When Mike arrived, his face was pale, his eyes filled with a mix of anger and disbelief. "Show me," he said, his voice steady. I led him to Emma's room, the diary still open on the bed. Mike's eyes widened as he read the entries, his hands clenched at his sides. "How could she do this?" he muttered, his voice filled with pain and rage. As we stood there, the weight of the truth pressing down on us, I knew this was just the beginning. Emma's manipulations had run deep, and undoing the damage would take time and effort. But I was ready to fight. I was ready to confront Emma and make her face the consequences. Together, Mike and I left the room, determined to repair the damage to our marriage and rebuild the trust that had been shattered. The road ahead would be difficult, but I was ready to see it through. As we sat in the living room, the diary laid out between us, I knew this was a turning point in our relationship. We would have to work hard to rebuild what had been broken, but I was ready to put in the effort. And as Mike reached out and took my hand, I knew that he was too. Next time, I'll tell you how I finally confronted her.